this video, we're going to talk about setting up the Autotask integration. Going into the admin tab, then into integrations, we're going to find Autotask under PSA and RMM. We're going to need a username, password, and selecting the location of importing this information. Real quick, while we're on this page, we can select where contacts from Autotask will be placed. So I'll be selecting that in our asset layouts. For this case, we're going to be putting those in our clients, and then our locations, we're going to match our locations within Hudu. These might be a little bit different depending on your instance, so use these however you see fit for your own Hudu. Now, we're going to go into Autotask to find out where we can get the username key and the password secret key. Here within our Autotask instance, as an admin, we're going to go to our left side here, down to the admin sources, and then find our users. Now we can either create a user with API user access, or we can find an existing one. In this case, we already have an account built out, so I'm going to select this one for us, and these will be the systems that are required to getting that access. So I'll leave this up for a moment and make sure that you can save those settings. Make sure that they do have the API user, and we're also going to be making sure that we can have those credentials at hand. Below that, we're looking for the API tracker, and we're going to select the integration vendor, and then you're going to select the integration vendor type, being Hudu Technologies documentation. This will have a drop-down menu of many options, but we will be just selecting the H, and then Hudu Technologies will be one of the first options to pop up. Once we have those items, we then have to generate a key and secret. So we're going to do that real quick and then place that into our Hudu instance. As a quick note, we can generate the key and our secret, but make sure that after we either save those in a safe location, add them to your instance and save and close this. If this window is left open, it will fail in the test connection, so we have to be sure to save and close to make sure that these keys are actually active. So we're going to go take care of that real quick and show you the Hudu instance. Now we're within Hudu. I have that username key and password involved. Going down, we get to organize which items you want to skip. In this case, we're totally fine with the default, so I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and hit Save Settings. We're going to select the Test Connection button now to make sure that it works. We don't want to start a sync until we know that everything will be pulled in. So we're going to hit Test Connection, and this might take a moment to populate, so if it doesn't respond immediately, just give it a moment, and at any point it will pop up. So while we're waiting for that, make sure that you have your credentials set and everything else connected, because this will fail pretty quickly if things go wrong. But in this case, there we go. For a moment, we have our connection successful. Now, I will let you know if you hit this button a bunch of times, it will take a little bit longer. So just be patient as Hudu is connecting to that instance and pulling your information together. So we're going to hit connection successful. Okay. Now we get to start our sync. So I'm going to hit the start button and let this run for a moment. Depending on how much information you have in, it might take a little extra time. We can just skip forward and refresh the page and bring in what we do have for now. So after a minute, we refresh the page and now we have our companies brought in. So since we have a couple unmatched companies, we can check out everything that we have coming in, and you'll notice that we have name and integration and a match. At this moment, we don't have any companies within Hudu that match these specific names, so Hudu will generate a new company to do so. Now, in this case, we have many more companies than we want to manually enter, over about 5 pages, as we can see in the bottom left. So instead, we can bulk match/create, bringing everything in. For sake of this, however, I'm actually just going to mark a couple of these items so that way we can have some information come in. And you'll see that we have 3 match companies now on our right side. Before we start this next sync, we can change this match to another company if we would like. In this case, since we don't have one with a similar name, we're going to leave it this way. I'm going to go back though, clicking this Autotask button up here, taking us back to this integration, and we're going to stop and restart this sync. This will start to bring in the information and the asset layouts and the other information that we want coming in. Now, initially we selected that only the contacts will be placed in clients and so on, but since we have a successful test connection, we can also add sort rules. So these will be the devices that Autotask has within it, and we get to match it within Hudu now. So in this case, if we just have a wireless router, that's great for a networking device. We can add as many of these as we want. Certain printers for other devices. We can maybe just call this a mobile device for case of our demo. Add sorted, or we can just continue. We don't want one. We can just hit that remove button and save our settings. So you'll see already we have our clients and our locations coming in. This will be a great way of us tracking certain information, and it will bring over the course of several minutes. Hudu syncs the integrations and changes every 3 hours. We can change this early and adjust it as we like. So since in the middle of this, I applied some filter changes, I'm going to stop that sync, restart it, and give it another minute to bring information in. Now we have these devices in, we've finished our sync, and we can take a look at all that's being brought in, and we only have a couple companies matched at the moment. At any point, you can go into your edit settings, try another sync, bring in your new companies, and make sure things are organized. If you have any more questions, please feel free to comment down below or reach out to our support team. We're always more than happy to answer any questions you have.